the vision of it. I'm really just focused on the process, and that's day to day. Coming out here today with this walkthrough and then practice later. Trying to put my best foot forward, and prove to the coaches and the guys what I'm capable of.
Studying the best and learning from the best, they were always competing with themselves every day. There's no ceiling they're putting on themselves. It's always a constant look myself in the mirror at the end of each day and did I get better? And just focus on what you can control, how you can improve, and just, when you're done with it, looking back and seeing where you're at.
Kyler, JJ, Kyler, 9 to noon, Ben Leber, at Nacho Leber via X. And make sure to watch Ben on TV today, each and every weekday, 3 to 4:30. It's Twin Cities Live on Channel 5, and it's a good one. Coming up today on Twin Cities Live, it's almost August, and that means it's almost time for the State Fair. Viewers, don't forget, Ben will be spending 2 hours after each show signing autographs and talking Vikings football each and every weekday adjacent to Carousel Park. That's next on Twin Cities Live.
I always love that
Such an a-hole.
Get in line early.
Oh, my God. 2 hours, huh?
Like one person in a month is going to come up and say, well, I thought you were sitting around and chatting about them Queens.
One of the best things that we've done at Twin Cities Live, we do our meet and greets before the show now instead of after.
Mm-hmm. So great. Ruin your mood before you have to get on TV.
So it is... No, the best thing is we get done with the show. We go back to the back room where it's a little air conditioned. We pack up our stuff and we are gone. We're gone by walking to the bus at 4:35.
Kyler and JJ had their moments yesterday. Kyler got the first call. Pads go on Monday. How much changes when these players don the full armor of the gridiron?
I mean, so much, so much. And I think I think for Kyler, he's probably really, really looking forward to that because in these controlled environments with no pads on, you're not feeling the rush anymore. You're not being able to showcase your physical traits and your scrambling ability and your second chance plays. And that's, obviously it's a part of his game. I don't want people to think that that's all his game. He does it. He has the ability to it. But I think for the most part, Kyler really wants to just be a pocket passer. He wants to run the offense that the coordinator wants to run, and he will only use his legs when he needs to. The coordinator from Arizona under Gannon, Petzing, blew his name there for a second. I'm like, what the heck? He used him a little bit on true quarterback run game, but not a lot. Mm-hmm. So don't think that just because he is special in his physical traits that he wants to run around prematurely. He wants to be a quarterback. And I think that's putting the pads on is going to give everybody a chance to really evaluate the full spectrum of what Kyler Murray is, because you can see him feel the rush, move around the pocket, and then if he has to extend the plays, then he's going to show off, what he can do getting the ball down the field.
I don't think people truly realize, and I know I didn't, just truly how fast Kyler Murray is. And now we can line up at the goal line and we can bet 100 on it. You can have whomever you want. They're going to go to the other goal line. And if Dan Chisena still were here, well, he'd beat them all. And you'd get 10 to 1 on him for multiple reasons. Yeah. And he'd just be popping tags and scooping chips. Well, so I'm not talking straight line, just running in a race. He might win that too. It's like he shook on Ingram Dawkins yesterday. It looked like it would have been a sack, but it wouldn't. But since everything or most things are half to 3/4 speed on day one without pads and everything, it just at half speed, you can't get him. And he's just going half speed. And then somebody gets close and he goes to 3/4 and he pulls away again. I contend the loudest oohs and ahs that are going to take place when fans get there Saturday and then subsequently night practice, whole thing, is when Kyler Murray runs. Mm-hmm. And when they got the pads on and he doesn't want to get hit and he gets around people and stuff like that. From a defensive standpoint, it's not like you went against that a ton in your career in training camp. But when the jitterbug just continues to shake on you and slide and make you look bad with angles, sooner or later, defensive players, mentally and physically, they get hot. And they're trying to win spots and win playing time, and they get frustrated with it. Like, do quarterbacks ever get popped in those scenarios? Or, like, what would lead to a potential fight?
You mean, are you talking like the inner squad stuff, like outside of?
Yeah, I'm talking Kyler, let's say over the course of a half hour, has run 3 times. He's shaken on you 3 times. You're frustrated with it. You're hot. You're trying to win a spot, and the 4th time, it just ain't going to happen.
No, I mean, I'm kind of like racking my brain right now of the quarterbacks I've gone against in practice. Nobody that's even close to that sort of level of quickness and that lateral quickness. Mm-hmm. But no, I don't think.
What about Flutie? Like,
no. Well, when
Flutie ran.
Yeah, but when I got there in San Diego, Flutie was not, he was not spry.
The Boston College, Washington General days, or whatever they were called. Or
he wasn't that. He wasn't that player. He was elusive, and I think everybody just gave him the respect of like in practice. He
hit you with a Flutie bomb.
You don't even try to hit him. I mean, all those guys are in red jerseys anyway. So even when it's live, you're just going for the hip tap, and that's all you're trying to do is just hip tap him.
But if you do it too hard. Here comes O'Neal. Here comes Fries. Here comes Donovan Jackson.
I mean, whether it's McCarthy or whether it's Kyler, if a defensive player in any drill, I don't care if it's live or not.
That's my quarterback.
If in any drill you pop the quarterback and the linemen see that and they see their boy on the ground, there's gonna be some fists for sure.
How is Bleacher Report wrong about Caleb Banks?
You saw that on the old Sound the Horn.
Yep.
We actually have a name for it now, which is kind of exciting.
What is it exactly?
It's a YouTube channel that
it's yours.
It's mine and Cy Amundson's. I think
that's right.
We're all familiar with Cy around here. So, the back story is. About every Vikings game, Cy and I would have probably an hour-long breakdown on the phone, just talking about the game and whatever. And he's got really insightful takes. I think having that comedian brain, he looks at a lot of things from a lot of different angles. And so it's really enlightening to hear from his fan perspective and what he sees in Vikings games and what I see on being on the sideline. Anyway, we've just taken those conversations, put it on a YouTube channel. And he's really talented at all the back end stuff, graphically, editorial, all that stuff. So
Sound the Horn is a Wu-Tang Clan song. I'm having a tough time finding this podcast.
Is that right?
Yeah, but go ahead. So I don't even know what Bleacher Report said.
Well, they basically just said, they went through every team's potential busts.
Oh, there we are.
And
this is nice.
I thought it was very low hanging fruit on their part to just say, well, we think Caleb Banks for the Vikings is going to be their big draft bust, if there is one for each team.
Mm-hmm.
And our fun counter argument to that was just, it's wow, you guys really did a whole lot of research here to really scrape the bottom to figure out who's going to be a potential bust. I mean, you basically said, look at a first-round draft pick who came in with a little bit of controversy because of his foot injury. Then we're just going to call him a first-round bust, and I just push back against a lot of the same things that we've talked about before, that every medical doctor, especially Coetzee and all the staff at TCO that, are phenomenal. And we don't use the word lightly, but they are world renowned. They are some of the best foot and ankle guys in the world. And if they give him the clearance, then I have all the faith in the world that this should not be a reoccurring injury. This should not be a lingering issue. Mm-hmm. This should be something that once fully healed and brought up to speed properly, hopefully we'll never have to hear about a Caleb Banks foot injury again.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that he's not going to be protected from every injury. But I look at his size, his rare ability to move in space.
He reminded me of Akeem Hicks yesterday, and I'm not saying he's Akeem Hicks good. It's like first time I and anybody have seen him in this setting, and he gets down in the stance, and then he gets up and starts just to the swim move and just try to get himself in there. And I'm like, damn, he's not quite as big yet, maybe not even as tall, but it just reminded me of former Bears defensive tackle Akeem Hicks.
Yes, and we know the problems that he gave us. And I think that I might be off by an inch or two, but I think that he measured at like 82-inch wingspan, which I think they said put him in the top of all defensive linemen in the last 5 years at the combine. And we all know that he couldn't do everything at the combine. But when you just look at his measurables, You look at what he did in college, and it just seems like it's a perfect match for this defense. I think that he by the time we get halfway through the season, and I feel like he's picked up the game speed and all that stuff, like he truly could fundamentally change the way our defense looks, with or without B-Flow. If B-Flow moves on in a year or two or whatever, like I think that he is foundationally a piece for this defense. So I was just basically pushing back at Bleacher Report saying no, I think that we're going to go the opposite way with this guy.
And what's Banks' wingspan? Nearly 83, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Akeem Hicks' wingspan was 84. So, I mean, that adds up. They're close to the same height. And Caleb still has some growing to do. So, yeah, if that comparison works out and he plays like him, the Minnesota Vikings interior defense is in business. Now, this treasure trove of Sound the Horn, where did this come from? I must have been on a vocal maintenance day or seven, because this is terrific, man. Go to youtube.com, and search either Ben Leber or Ben Leber 51. It'll take you to something called Sound the Horn with Cy Amundsen. Subscribe to that bad boy. They got a lot of good stuff up there right now. No idea how I missed any of this.
Well, we intentionally, we just played around with it for a long time. So we
have a lot of things up there, a lot of shorts and everything.
Yeah, we probably started recording about 2 months ago.
Oh.
And we'd sit down and record a couple times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And we just said let's just play with this. We don't need to make any announcements. We don't need to make anything official. Let's just kind of have some fun with this. And we're not even I guess I'm sort of making an announcement now, but we're not truly having a hard launch of this thing.
Yeah, because you don't want to be married to doing it every day, every 3 days or whatever.
I mean,
people will start counting on it.
We have a recording schedule.
Okay.
So we've just really wanted to just figure out our flow and figure out things. We didn't want to come out on day one and say, hey, everybody check out this YouTube channel. And then we haven't had those discussions like we're talking about.
Do you want more subscribers?
Well, duh.
Okay. YouTube, Sound the Horn, Ben Leber, Cy Amundsen, very easy to find. Like we did a couple of days ago for Bent Out of Shape with a couple of fellow linebackers, Eric Hendricks and Anthony Barr. Jump into YouTube and follow this and subscribe that. Don't forget to hit that sub button. Make sure you hit that bell and like it along the way. So I haven't watched any of it. I just saw the headline. I'm going to watch them all today, and I'm going to pilfer some takes right now. For instance, Ben Leber reacts to Jamal Adams signing with the Vikings. What was the reaction?
Yeah, basically that I don't think any of the starters have anything to worry about. That I think that he is going to come in to be a very niche support member on this defense. I think he's going to bring a ton of expertise, obviously. I think his leadership is going to shine from day one.
So you feel really confident he makes the team?
No, I don't feel – I don't know. I don't.
So what they gave him would define a prove-it deal?
Yeah, I think so. I think I was trying to be constructively critical of his play as a linebacker last year with Vegas.
Yeah, I heard you on the power trip say that you got in and watched some of his linebacker plays.
Yep.
What'd it look like?
From a pure linebacker standpoint, I think it's average. I don't think that he quite understands the nuances of playing off blocks. Even when he doesn't do a good job using his hands to get off blocks, he doesn't dip in a way to get around some of these blocks to maintain that gap integrity. He just looks like a young player that's learning how to play linebacker at the NFL level, and it's just not natural to him. Okay. Now, where he did excel, I guess if I can use that word, he is truly an outside linebacker in that system, and so when he was adjusted out on a number 2 or number 3 receiver, then his sort of defensive back instincts took over, and you could see that a little bit more natural. He does a great job disguising when he blitzes off the edge. He definitely makes it count when he gets to the point of attack on the ball carrier. He still wants to pop you every single time that he can. So I think from an attitude standpoint, I think setting a tone standpoint, if they feel like this defense needs it, then I think he's the guy. I don't think that you're going to see him out there And you're not certainly going to see him out there in heavy packages. You won't see him out there in dime packages. He's not going to be running deep center field as a safety. I think he's truly that second level defender in only certain situations.
This is awesome. I can't hear it, but in watching it, like the pictures and stuff that you guys are dropping in, so I can see why you waited a little while to make sure the graphics and like the whole setup and the permission and the YouTube like licensing and all that.
Yeah. I mean,
this is nice, man.
It's still a work in progress.
It looks good.
Thank you.
What's the best way for people to subscribe? Like if you
hit a button, I guess.
But if you put Sound the Horn in, it sends you to some Wu-Tang Clan thing. So
I just searched Sound the Horn Ben Leber.
Oh, there we go. Sound the Horn Ben Leber.
I guess, yeah.
On YouTube, Sound the Horn Ben Leber. Subscribe not only because he's our guy, but this thing with he inside, I could just tell it's good. For instance, why should Justin Jefferson never have a season like last year?
I think we all understand that he's too good to be wasted trying to figure out a quarterback situation and trying to bring a guy along where he can't figure out how to get him the ball consistently and also in the way that we know Justin Jefferson to get the ball. Mm-hmm. Yes. Can he be a part of bubble screens and quick slants and some of those easy rudimentary routes? But we know Justin to be that deep over guy, the guy that's running deeper routes and all that stuff. So
look at Rube Nation. We already got 400 more subscribers. Keep going.
Wow. Outstanding. I appreciate that, everybody.
No problem.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's, some of that stuff was also just, hey, how can what sort of topics are we going to tackle in the offseason? We know that we're pretty confident that we can, as we're doing right now with training camp starting, we can have topics galore during the season. But it was more of a stress test for us of like, okay, what can we do when it comes to next offseason as we get done with the draft, and as you guys talk about the sports abyss and the football abyss, can we come up with relevant topics that are interesting, that are not just fishing for clicks? We're not here to be like, hey, breaking news, and we're going to be manufacturing drama. Like that's not our bit. We're not going to be doing that stuff.
Okay, well, if the Vikings feel they have, or if trained eyes believe the Minnesota Vikings have a hidden gem at cornerback, who is said hidden gem?
Well, doesn't it just say right there?
No, not in the that's size fault, not yours. Is it Demings?
Yes.
Okay, Charles Demings. Yeah. Watched him yesterday. Looked like, who looked good yesterday was James Pierre, and he had to leave practice at the end. Not sure why. Didn't seem to be anything serious. But he went one-on-one with Jefferson a few times, and again, we're not in pads. We're not joint practicing with the Ravens, but it's still Justin Jefferson. He's trying to do Kyler or JJ a solid, but this was a pass from Kyler. And Pierre just stuck to him for about 3 seconds in one-on-one coverage. I thought that was pretty good.
That is the one thing. If you're a fan and you're going to go out there on Saturday to watch that first open practice, and they're not going to still be in pads, correct? They don't put the pads until Monday?
Yep.
Those are the one-on-one battles that I think that are pretty translatable to when the pads actually come on.
Agreed.
I think in OTAs and minicamp, the DBs are not allowed to press like at the line of scrimmage, but I think once training camp starts on padless days, I think you can still do that and still be physical at the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go out there and you want to watch and you want to kind of track where those guys are going to be doing that early in the practice, those are the battles that I think are like, okay, that's basically what it's going to look like once the pads come on Monday and throughout training camp. Not so much with the defensive line and offensive line. It's like that's probably my favorite drill to watch is the pass rushing drill. That you have to watch with the pads on. That's just way different when you have the pads on versus no pads.
Yeah.
But when it comes to competitive periods, man, those DBs versus wide receivers, running backs, linebackers, and tight ends, doing one-on-one stuff, pass drops and pass coverage. That's some good stuff right there. I think you're going to see those competitions play out just like that once the pads come on.
Kevin O'Connell is so competitive. In other words, what I mean is like the Kyler Murray's first minicamp. Okay, there were 2 days, but the first one had some disaster to it to start. First 2 passes, interceptions. After paraphrasing, he's like, well, I'm not used to this. I'm used to getting all the snaps and all the reps as the starter, so it's still very much a work in progress. Well, I mean, O'Connell, whether he concedes it or not, is going to read, hear, or see that at that time, or somebody's going to tell him, and then it might eat at him a little bit, during the course of the downtime before coming back for training camp. Like, okay, well, he threw 2 interceptions, but, who's the one calling those plays? That's me. And we're known for high-end offense here, passing offense in Minnesota. The first play of day 1 of training camp, there's Murray. It's 11 on 11. It's first offense, second defense. So he comes right out of the gate, Murray under center, play action. Kyler can't go under center and do play action. Play action, perfectly executed. Addison, I don't know. That's why I love watching practice with you. I don't know what the route's called, but he's the wide receiver left, heads to the middle, hard cut to the left. And it ended up either being a bust or a gotcha because Addison was wide open for a 25-yard gain. And then the next play had some trickery to it, too, and it also would have moved the chains. And I'm like, O'Connell just, it's like we hear coordinators have an entire offseason to get ready for game 1 of the regular season. Well, he just spent 6 weeks figuring out the first play that he can run against Flores defense that'll have the media look at it and say, wow, he was under center. Wow, the play action was good. He turned his back. Wow, look at that hit to Addison. He was wide open. O'Connell's so competitive that, of course, he wants to put Kyler and the team in a good spot. But he also remembers last time you guys were writing about him throwing, it was a couple of picks. What do you think of this now?
If the way that you described that is the way I drew it up in my head, I mean, that's a really tough route on a linebacker and a second-level defender. If you're going to run...
That's what it was, because there was a linebacker in front and a safety late.
Yeah, if you're going to run a hard play action with a pivot route... With Addison, who's awfully quick, I mean, good luck. I think those routes are really difficult in general when it's just straight drop back, because they can run the jerk route on top of that as a complementary where you do the same motion, but instead of busting it back outside to where you came from, you do a little shake and you keep going across the field. Really, really difficult, especially off of play action. So
yeah, and having not done anything for 6 weeks.
Yeah. Well, and the other storyline that we're going to watch with all this is, like, I know Justin Jefferson said that he's going to try to get equal amount of time this offseason with McCarthy and with Kyler, but at least all the social media clips, which, we can put a little bit into that, but maybe that's a little bit of fake news out there because we didn't see a lot of clips with Justin Jefferson, but a lot of social media clips with Addison and Kyler Murray working out together. So, if that's that sort of chemistry and relationship, how does that play into this offense with how many targets they get per game? Crunch time situations, like, is it just going to be this natural chemistry that they built in the offseason that maybe
Addison's trying to get paid?
Well, that's the thing. Addison's trying to get paid. Yeah. So I don't blame him at all for spending most of his time, at least social media time, with Kyler Murray. So I think that'll be kind of a sneaky storyline to watch, is just like, how comfortable does he feel with each individual receiver, especially in certain points in the game.
And then there will be a Sound the Horn podcast this time next season indicating Justin Jefferson should never be the second receiver on any team. And you can find that. This is Ben Leber joining us in studio. Great to have him. He's part of the Sound the Horn podcast via YouTube. So go to YouTube, search Sound the Horn, Ben Leber, subscribe. We got these subscribers up about 400 right now. Let's see if we can increase it to 1,000 before Ben leaves. It is YouTube in the search bar, Sound the Horn, Ben Leber. Don't forget to hit that sub button. Let's get some cash away.
The Fan and BigDeck.com want to give you a shot at some bonus bucks with the National Cash Contest. This hour's keyword is check. Again, the keyword is check. Enter that in at KFAN.com.
This is 9 to noon, live on iHeartRadio and KFAN, The Fan.
From the 1-8...
Jacoby Thomas, the physical specimen, rookie from Miami. He's a safety. Jacoby Thomas, he ran with the ones yesterday. He just, my untrained eye can't tell if they're playing fast or not playing fast. Sometimes I can. But like Thomas just has to be swimming in it, right? Swimming in like where to go, what to do, how to not give a tell on the trick. Because you give one tell or two tells, and that means like the next 3 games, Flores has to change the tricks if you're going to be in the game, right?
Yeah, so I will go back to I've mentioned this before with my conversation with Harrison Smith. This is probably 2 years ago at least, maybe 3 years ago, maybe right when B-Flow got here. And I said, hey, man, can you tell me about this defense? Is it complicated? Is it simple? He kind of looked at me and almost like he was telling me a secret, even though it's like not a secret. And he's like, it's not that difficult. I go, really? He goes, no. He's like, to learn the coverages, he's like, it's not exotic coverages.
Wow.
Like, we've played these coverages before. He's like, the trick is to know how to play with the look pre-snap. He's like, that takes a lot of time. He's like, it looks like there's a lot going on, and that's by intent and purpose. And that's what we practice a lot, is just like what we do pre-snap. But once the ball snaps, the coverages are coverage. Like, the coverages are pretty standard NFL coverages, and we don't do anything crazy to get to them, or don't have anything like so outside the box that if you're a rookie or a young guy, that it's going to take a long time to understand coverage and your responsibility. So going back to Jacoby, I think if he's just a smart football player and he's going to pick up the coverage aspects, then there's no reason why he couldn't showcase that early in camp. Now, when it comes to running the nuance of it, like the way Harrison ran it, yeah, that might take some time if he's got that in him. But as far as him being out there, it's a great sign that they trust him just to run the coverage and be where you're supposed to be against given receivers and routes.
I don't know if this is what quarterbacks do when they're not playing in practice in training camp. But I had my binoculars on Murray when McCarthy was in there. So they clearly, Wentz, Murray, and McCarthy all can hear the play. So McCarthy's in the huddle, the hands over the ear hole.
Yeah.
Just get the play. Well, and I can tell they all can hear the same thing at the same time because they all looked at their cards at the same time on their wrists. So the play comes in, McCarthy looks at it briefly. Murray and Wentz are like staring at it. Murray's like his fingers like going through something. He's learning this thing. Maybe this is how it is all the time, and I've just never noticed it. I thought it was so cool. Play after play, McCarthy's at quarterback. He'd go back to pass or do the play action or whatever. Well, calling games or you analyzing games, we're following the ball. We're watching the quarterback, then we're following the ball. You guys will see things out of your periphery, to be able to jump in and be like, not completely sure, but I think so-and-so was late from this spot. Murray, after every snap, he never was watching the quarterback. He was only watching receivers and what they do. I thought that was fantastic. Maybe that's how it is all the time, but he would look at the play on the card and then do his finger along to get the play called, then the formation, make sure he has it down. But then he would watch Jennings on the right where he knew where the ball most likely was going, and he wanted to watch that guy do his thing. Every single play wasn't in there. I thought that was really cool. Does that happen a lot?
Yeah, I think so. You would hope so. We talk about getting the mental reps all the time. For the young kids listening out there, it's just important to get your mental reps when you're on the sidelines than it is to get some of the real reps. And, a lot of times, we were drilled into that when I was in college that, when you're off the field and your backup's in there or the backup is in there and you've got an extended break and you feel like you deserve a shot of water, fine, get your water. But you got to still keep your head in the game and understand what's going on. And the chance for you to position yourself, whether offense or defense, kind of behind your normal position to see the things that you need to see when you're in there, because every rep is precious. And even though that you may have repped that same thing as a player with your 8 to 10 plays, there might be just something, there might be a different call, even though they might repeat the script. You might look at something. That's your opportunity to be like, okay, when I saw that rep, I was checking out the safeties because that's my normal progression.
Right.
But if
I got it wrong. You nailed it. He knew where it was going.
Right.
But he wanted, so in other words, coaches are like, now on this play, he's going to do this. But for it to work, that guy has to go there. This safety has to. That's what he was watching.
So he was probably watching like, okay, I know what I'm supposed to do in my normal progression, but let me just check out how the receiver stems to this. Like, I want to watch his body movements because let's say it's a quick throw, a 3-step slant or something, and you're trying to snap your heads from looking forward at the safety over to the right side where Juwan Jennings is. Well, I want to see what happens in that moment when I'm rolling my eyes over to him. Like, what sort of stutter steps is he giving? What sort of hands is he giving? What sort of body position so I can best put the ball there? And also, you want to see how the corner's playing.
Yeah.
You want to see if the corner's getting help from the outside linebacker, that nickel. So there's just so much to see on any given play.
But those first 2 plays, I don't have confirmation of this, but I just know how competitive the head coach is and how frustrated he can get sometimes, even if he doesn't share it, at what he thinks what he thinks the narrative being established by the people is ridiculous. Because he sees all the organized team activity stuff and watches it all back, and nobody ever sees anything except this snapshot at minicamp. And, oh no, there are 2 picks, and oh no, Kyler said, I'm not used to this, and I'm kind of playing behind it here because I'm not getting, but I'll get there. And if that grated on him, again, that first play, under center, play action, turned his back, play action off Jones, or was it Mason? Nevertheless, it was one of the 2 starters. Turned his back on the defense, Matt Ryan-esque. Addison, they might have worked on that at a high school for a month. It was so polished, and it had a little gotcha to it. All right, so there was that. Next play, Murray, under center, 5-step drop, left hash, right numbers to Juwan Jennings for 17. So in other words, for all of you, and they were going into the wind. It's almost like he prayed and constructed the wind just to get people to back off his quarterback, or who could be the starting quarterback, because Murray threw into the wind from the left hash just outside of the right numbers, which is a hard throw. And it was a completion to Jennings. Those were the first 2 plays. I just thought it was really cool how they crafted that. You're the best. Have a great time on TV today. It is 3 o'clock, Channel 5, Twin Cities Live, and we'll see you soon, okay?
Yeah, man, can't wait for it. Can't wait to see you at camp.
Likewise,
as well.
For sure. Yeah. Can't wait to see you, too, especially those joints. 9 to noon, goes noon to 3. Wednesday, the first day of the joints. Be great to have you there if possible. That's Ben Leber at Nacho Leber via X 1044. News du Nord is next.
This is PA on iHeartRadio and KFAN The Fan. Guaranteed human.
So, stick out real quick. Can you hear this?
Yeah, I can hear that. What are we watching?
Just who are you talking to? This nice
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We got some work for you now. It's Scooby-Dooby-Doo. It's Scooby-Doo meets the Three Stooges. And now they're in an encounter with Wyatt Earp and Wild Bill, and it's about ready to be on. I haven't watched this in so long.
Oh, yeah.
Ava loves Shaggy.
Yeah, we got a little Scooby-Doo in the house. A lot of Little House on the Prairie at our house these days.
Yeah.
Little House on the Prairie? Yeah, is it Nellie Olson?
Yeah.
The blonde lady? Michael Landon is he's the dad.
Yeah, Charles?
Yeah, his real name is Michael Landon. We don't need to go to the Google machine on him yet. Just give that a few years. Yeah, it's a very, very good show. And, we talk a lot of football 9 to noon, Ava and Stella, which, as Stella told me during the break, she finds to be incredibly boring.
I always love that one.
You guys love KFAN? No. Why? It's boring.
I always love that
I can't get them to watch sports with me.
Well,
they'll go through phases where they'll sit down for 15 or 20 minutes, and it's great dad-daughter time. But for the most part, after that, I'm out of here. This
Daphne,
is awful.
though. Well, with Little House on the Prairie, I forgot the guy's name. It's Merlin Olsen.
Okay.
So he's a side character, the biggest guy on the show with the beard.
Oh, what the ladies are going to have to...
You know his name? Turn it on. You know where Leon is. You've been in here a million times.
I ain't sitting around.
Just come on, clip on in here. Little House on the Prairie.
Yes.
Well, you think football is boring, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there is a major big character in Little House on the Prairie. Now, it's not Laura Ingalls. It's not Nellie Olson, whatever. It's not Charles the dad. It's another guy. I forgot his name. Mr. Ingalls?
Mr. Olson.
Well, his real name is Merlin Olson, and he was a defensive football player for the Los Angeles Rams. And he was really, really good. So maybe watching this on Little House on the Prairie, maybe it'll lead you to watching some Rams or Vikings games, right? Or is it boring?
Boring.
You ever listen to Vikings games on the radio? Do you think those are boring too?
Yeah.
Nobody better than kids.
Well, now you got me looking at this.
Just Google Merlin Olson, Little House on the Prairie.
Merlin Olson.
Yeah,
okay.
he was a star for many years on this show in the 70s that I grew up watching. It was like Little House on the Prairie, Hogan's Heroes, Love Boat, and
he looks familiar.
And I can't remember the other.
He portrayed Jonathan Garvey.
Yeah, you guys know who Jonathan Garvey is? You know, defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers.
No.
Do you think Jonathan Garvey's defense for the Green Bay Packers is complex or boring?
Boring.
I always love that one.
Yeah, it's boring. Okay. What about when Dad talks on the radio? Do you think that's exciting or boring?
Depends.
On if he's talking to... Huh?
It depends on what he's saying.
Yeah, so, I mean, you guys did hurt me a little bit between segments. You understand you hurt Uncle Paul just a little bit, right? When you said, well, Dad always complains that you don't let him talk enough, Uncle Paul.
I always love that one.
And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but it's boring, you know?
Yeah, he was on from 77 to 81, Jonathan Garvey.
Hey, it was a staple. Okay, both of you, on the count of when I point at you, I want you to say Nord Squish, and then we're going to get back to action. 3, 2, and...
Nord Squish!
News do Nord Squish on KFAN.
This is brought to you by
the best.
The Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. My girls can't feel the felt with poker, blackjack, and table games, so they come out to the park with me to watch the live racing. And you can get the full racing schedule, family days, extreme days, corgi races, the wieners, straight and strong. You can find out all that at CanterburyPark.com. We'll start with the Twins. Twins lose 4-0 to the Kansas City Royals yesterday.
Problem.
It was Randy Dobnak with a 7-inning 4-hitter, a gem, former Twin Randy Dobnak for the Royals. Yes, Joe Ryan goes 6, gives up 8, allows 4 runs, and the Twins now a game below 500 with the rubber match today at 12:40 that me and the girls will be in attendance for.
So when I say problem, I don't mean so. There's a 24-hour rule in football that I think applies in a fair amount of sports, where it's like, so say somebody plays at noon, they get done at 3:15, they've won or lost the game. Well, you have 24 hours to get that out of your system.
Yeah.
When you come back to the facility the next day to do whatever you do, but then specifically Wednesday, we can't be lamenting, we can't be loathing, and we can't be frustrated, overly frustrated with what's happened.
Agree.
Or overly joyous with what has transpired. The 24-hour rule has to be in play. In fact, I'm going to make it the 12-hour rule. Has to be in play for the Minnesota Twins, because I know for a fact after that loss to their former teammate Randy Dobnak last night, negative vibes, because he was just here last year. So when you let your dog go, and it's like they don't, he's not like considered one of the best pitchers in all of baseball, period. But when he's been here half a decade, and then he leaves, and then he comes back to the spot, right. You're 3.5 out of first, feeling kind of good about yourselves. You're playing one of the worst road teams in Major League Baseball, and Dobnak comes in there, starts fooling his former teammates left and right.
Yeah.
That breeds negativity. got to shake it off, boys. Shake it off. Noah Cameron is ever crushable. Bailey Ober goes today, so we'll see what happens with the game today, and maybe the meatloaf scenario's in play, and the Twins can meatloaf the Royals. I certainly hope so. Like, the Royals came in here like 19-35 on the road, so this is a bad road team without its best player, Bobby Witt Jr. You just got befuddled, bedazzled, fooled by your former teammate. And he's of the paunchy variety, so we're not looking like, Joe Q athlete here. He just rolled in here and did a number on you. I think it caused bad vibes with certain members of the team. But the 12-hour rule in play, which means you got to dust yourselves off and go out and beat them today.
Well, I don't think it's definitely Dobnak. But if you look, this Twins team has, and now they did their thing against the A's, although I believe they dropped the Saturday one. This team kind of trips over themselves with bad teams. Earlier this year, the Twins lost 3 of 4, I believe, to Kansas City. They got meatloafed by them in another 3-gamer earlier in the season.
But it still can be argued we're a bad team.
I think it absolutely could be argued.
In a bad division and in a bad league.
Yeah.
It was Randy Dobnak.
It was Randy Dobnak.
It was Randy. So
wasn't Dobnak the one that at one point was like driving Ubers while he was Uber driver?
It was the Uber bit. He used to drive Uber, and then he fell into Major League Baseball. He's paunchy. He rolled in here and went Wilbur Wood on you last night.
Yeah, he's game though, isn't he?
I mean, in that game he was. But
I wonder what his rating was.
The age-old give and take or analysis in situations like that is, does the pitcher know more about the tells of the hitters with whom he used to play? Or do the hitters know more about the tells of the guy with whom they used to play who pitches? I clearly was answered last night. I mean, you think of the annals of great Kansas City Royals pitchers. I mean, you have Chris Bubich, Alec Lewis's guy, Paul Splittorff, Bud Black, and Randy Dobnak.
Bubich.
Yeah, I mean, What
a name!
I mean, honestly, just paint a portrait of that right now, put it at the Royals facility, and call it a day.
Oh, that's beautiful. We played some audio earlier. J.J. McCarthy and Kyler Murray vying for QB1. Well, we got to hear from Brian O'Neill.
Ooh, Stella, look out. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Talking about his new contract extension.
I start by saying how excited I am to stay in Minnesota. And
what I do.
Express my gratitude to the Wilfs, Nolan, Rob, KO, everybody here for believing in me. And I'm really, really excited to keep this journey going. And I'm going to give it my all every single day to, finally get over that hump and go where we really want to go.
I'm not going to say Brian O'Neill has a horse in this quarterback match race.
Yeah.
However, McCarthy, slow start yesterday. As much as you want to analyze slow starts, day one, no pads.
Right.
Super late on a middle pass to Jefferson. The Jay Ward Jay Ward shouldn't have gotten there, but he did because the quarterback was too late. But with that said, Brian is very fond of McCarthy. Now, Brian, he's going to play in front of whomever the quarterback is and try to win games. Consummate professional, bona fide team leader. McCarthy, I think it was Miles Price. Miles Price was getting a fair amount of looks yesterday. McCarthy made a really nice play, like middle of his first set of reps. O'Neill, he's lined up because McCarthy's playing behind the second line. And O'Neill, 10 steps out on the field. Attaboy, JJ. Come on, JJ. Show him what you can do. And I just thought it was very motivational, very inspirational. I don't believe he favors either one. In fact, I know he doesn't. But very supportive of young J.J. McCarthy, Brian O'Neill.
Well, A needs that. B, as we talked about yesterday, it just at a base level. If Kyler comes in and dazzles, gets the job, we have a terrific season. J.J. is still in his third year, still on the Minnesota Vikings in some capacity. But don't you just want your draft pick to do that? If you're Brian O'Neill and you've been here and you're thinking about getting over the hump, how good is it to see the plan succeed? And so for Brian O'Neill, he talked about some of that, goals in his press conference.
Dang it.
Like to make a run and have a chance at the big one, to just paraphrase what he was talking about. But in the end, to get there, of course, we're going to need to figure out that one particular position. And You know, with JJ, let me ask you this, and it's way too early. I'm not saying one was better than the other yesterday. A lot of time to go, and the pads coming on, as you mentioned, with Leber, very, very important to this.
Mm-hmm.
Do ties go to Kyler?
What do you mean?
Just in terms of, does JJ, because the idea of, in the talkback yesterday, a listener kind of said, you know, he's done everything that he's been asked to do. But is there potentially an element where he can do what he's supposed to do and still lose the job?
Ain't no ties coming. So there won't be there's not a tie now. But I'm just learning a lot the more I'm around it now, where, you know, and I melted a little bit yesterday on it, didn't melt, but made fun of it with the touchy-feely snowflake thing, where it's like I've heard so many times the way it was said in the press conference, all right, well, both these quarterbacks are going to work with the ones, they're both going to work with the twos, there will be some 50-50 in it, and we have a date in mind that we know we will anoint a true number one. The the majority of the takes, if not all of them, have been that's being shared so the person who loses stays engaged every step of the way.
Yep.
And doesn't get their heart broken too much. I'm going to flip it. I think if you know Kyler Murray is going to be the starter, you feel you don't want Kyler to know that you know you're going to start him.
Right.
In other words,
make him work for it.
It's not necessarily about the feelings or the heart or the emotions of the person who loses this battle. It's more so of the person who thinks they're going to win, or you know who's going to win, not thinking it's easy.
In some ways, versus that would be the opposite.
Which I love.
Of a year ago when JJ was kind of anointed the starter. Okay, first year, we got the injury, we move on, and Sam has his year, but then we don't do anything materially until late stages of camp when Carson is added to the mix. JJ's number one. Well, this time around, maybe KO knows. Heart of hearts. He's going with number one. He's going with number 9. Well, let's see how they handle this competition.
Yes.
Let's make every single rep potentially a competitive one, even in camp. I do like the way that you put it there.
News du Nord provided by Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. Racing tonight at Canterbury, $2 specials. Admission, Budweiser's, Pepsi's, and hot dogs, all $2 each tonight at Canterbury Park. We start at 5 o'clock.
Is Dave's Faves going to be out there, PA?
Dave's Faves will be out there on the green sheet, spitting winners left and right.
How's that takeout at Canterbury?
The takeout on the Pick 5 happens to be a nation low.
Ooh, I like that. I keep more of my money when I win.
And you receive more when you win, no doubt. It could be hundreds, if not thousands.
Could I have sips of chips if I was so inclined, potentially, between races?
It's open 24/7. CanterburyPark.com, CanterburyPark.com. See you all tonight. I'm putting Juice Box. We're putting Juice Box. You don't like that nickname for Dad, do you? Put the microphone on. Stella, you don't like that nickname for Dad, do you? Juice Box? Do you like Nord Squish?
Yes.
Squishy, squishy. Squishy, squishy, squishy. Squishy, squishy, squishy.
All day, every day.
Everywhere. Putting you on an assignment I forgot to do. It shouldn't take long.
All right.
There was part of Kyler Murray's press conference yesterday where somebody asked him about going against the unpredictable nature of Brian Flores' defense. And again, I've said this, I say again because I've said it a million times. I'm not one to look at somebody's face or their eyes and say, well, I saw into their eyes and thus I know the answer from their soul. I'm just saying Kyler Murray had a wry grin on his face after he was asked that question, and paraphrasing, his response was, well, I've gone against Flo's defense in 2 regular season games, and anyway, it comes from all over the place. It's unpredictable. A lot of good players over there. Next question. So I didn't look it up. I mean, has Kyler, through all of his career, had a couple of really good games against Brian Flores' defense, and he just didn't want to share it yesterday?
All right, so
that's save it for next segment.
Okay.
Also, Dazin, D-A-Z-N, and the Timberwolves. I need a little help with that because this just popped. I have no idea what's happening. You're listening to 9 to Noon at FM 100.3. KFAN, your Ava and Stella and Nord Squish Oh, leader.